Okay, so obviously working together, you're coming from different backgrounds culturally and from work, and there'll be different styles of working and communicating, and obviously that's one of the challenges of being in a really diverse study group. So I'm interested to know about, how did you manage that? How did you learn to communicate with each other? How have you kept in touch, socially as well as for projects and things like that? And I mean, what have some of the challenges been that along the way of working together?
Well, I think I can start. Obviously, this year the challenges were quite different from the ones of the previous cohorts, I guess. At first we only met online in August. So basically, what appears to be super hard, which is to build like connection over Zoom, it was kind of easy, at least in my view, because we had some training sessions that really helped us know the other member of the group, and it was really nice as a icebreaker. And I think right from the beginning, we formed a lasting connection that you can see now, I guess. One thing that helped, I guess, was that there was this course where we had to establish some rules. And even if we were not directly working in assignments, I think that previous work before really starting to do the hard stuff really helped us. Even that only in that the simplest way of just knowing the limits of anyone, like knowing that Juan doesn't like this, knowing that Joe doesn't like this, or that appreciates that negotiations are handled in a different way. I think that really established a really strong core in our relationship that we try to obviously continue to develop with some meetings, Zoom meetings. But I guess I can pass the ball to somebody else to add their 2 cents.
Yeah, it's very curious that you mentioned all these Zoom ground rules that we established at the beginning, and especially it's fun because we actually set a rule in which we were not supposed to work on weekends, and in the end we ended finishing many assignments on Sundays. So that was, there were rules, but in the end we managed to do everything on weekends. And I also want to highlight that I think that things have worked very smoothly with us. I think that there has never been any sort of conflict amongst ourselves, since I think that our personalities have clicked from the early beginning. We always get consensus across all the group before making any major or final decision. And to me, this has worked well so far.
And if there was ever a time where we would disagree, we would do a poll. And we're lucky that the polls weren't always 3-3. If they were 3-3, then back to the drawing board. But other than that, I think we did a good job. And then we would brainstorm a lot. And I think that was key. We would meet up before the project. We would create a plan, divide the tasks. And, then after it's all said and done, we'd meet up again. And we would practice over and over for our presentation, almost maybe too much. And in the end, one of our presentations, we practiced so much and my computer broke down, and Guillermo took over for me during the presentation. But we worked really well together. And sometimes it's very difficult in the beginning. Your first term, people might not know this, but it's very busy with the Career Center, recruitment going on. There's a lot of things going on, different activities. The classes are some topics are new, so there's a lot of things to learn, and it's a lot of work. But if you're organized, you work well together, you could definitely succeed in your first semester. And yeah.
And if I can add something else, I think working in this group was never an effort. It was actually fun, I guess. It was never something that I was like, oh no, another meeting with this group, this is horrible. It was actually fun, and it was amazing the first time I saw everyone on in person at classes. It was the first time I was actually seeing them, but it seemed like we met for so long, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and also adding to all these comments, I mean, we often text each other to catch up, so to see how everyone has been doing. And whenever possible, we have gathered to have some drinks. We did that once, or to walk around London. And also I would like to add that now with the hybrid model, it is not possible to see each other in class. So that has been better.
And although, you know, like we weren't in person, we would use obviously Zoom for our team meetings. And we'd also use Teams. Thank God for Teams, because we would write on Teams a lot. We would do our meetings on Teams and Zoom. And thank God for these technologies, because if this pandemic was maybe 5 years ago, who knows what we would have done. But you know, yeah, it worked out well for us. And yeah.
It's been really insightful. Lavanya, were you going to say something?
No, they pretty much covered everything. The best part about our team is that everyone comes in for an ownership, right? We let others take ownership, and we also let them experiment and learn in the process as well. So I think that's another a good thing about the team, because you know, most of the time people are insecure and they don't let others take control. But we were quite flexible, and we would let each of us take ownership and then deliver it towards the deadline. And everyone has done a good job doing that and playing their part well.
No, thank you. That's really, really insightful. And it sounds like there's, you know, a lot of respect in the group for the work that you do. You know, you're using skill sets that you already have from your previous work experience, but you're also learning and trialing new skill sets, and you have to have patience, I know, for each other as you sort of work through that. And it seems like that you created a space that allowed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. And to Lavanya's point, I think not micromanaging is very good, and letting people take ownership on the work is very important, and trusting people, and you know, assigning people tasks which that's their strength per se. And I think that's the key, because it's too much work if you're going to micromanage everyone. But if you give everyone their own assignments and projects where they're, you know, that's their strength, you give them ownership. And I think that's we took all ownership on our work, and I think that was the key, one of the keys to our success.
No, that's great. Thank you for that insight, everyone.